So it's time to go over day 12 of Packers training camp. And if you are new here, you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, make sure you turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any Packers news. So first off, we have the injury report from today from Pete Doherty. He said returned defensive end Kingsley Enagbare was back at practice after dealing with a hamstring injury. And the new players who were out, we have Jaden Reed with a calf injury, and then Jordan Morgan with a shoulder injury, which Matt LaFleur had said earlier today. He'll probably be out a week or so. So it's not a long-term thing, but still out for a little while. Then still out, we have wide receiver Stanley with a hamstring injury, cornerback Valentine with a hamstring injury, defensive end Alexandre with a lower leg injury, defensive end Banks with a groin injury, linebacker Edgerrin Cooper with a hip injury, and then offensive lineman Jennings with a knee injury. And then some Packers roster moves, which I touched on most of these already on the channel, but waived, injured, Rory Starkey, wide receiver, and Don Collis, cornerback, both have been released. And then signed defensive end Brevin Allen, a undrafted free agent out of Campbell last year, spent the 2023 season with the Chargers practice squad. And then defensive end Zach Morton and Alex Hale, who I've already touched on this channel. And the starters from today, Love, Jacobs, Melton, Watson, and Doubs at receiver. Jaden Reed, of course, not practicing, so Melton gets a start there. Musgrave, then offensive line, Walkers, Jenkins, Myers, Ryan, and Tom. So Zach Tom working his way into team reps this week at right tackle, which is big for the Packers. Sean Ryan getting the start at right guard with Jordan Morgan missing time. Then defense, Gary, Slayton, Clark, Smith, which has been pretty consistent. McDuffie and Quay at linebacker. Jair, Nixon, and Stokes at corner. And then Bullard is next to McKinney at safety. So the safety competition continues. Wes Hodgwood says, Jonathan Ford has done some nice things this summer. 2 good reps versus Smith on one-on-ones. Preston and Walker and Jenkins and Clark had some good work. Sean Ryan held strong versus Wyatt. Then Andy Herman says, McKinney, great pass breakup on a deep ball to Watson from Love. Melton shows his speed on a jet sweep. Jair comes up to make the stop. So it looks like they're using Melton like they used Jaden Reed, how they use those little jet sweeps with Reed. They do the same thing with Bo Melton there with Reed not practicing. Then a couple things from Andy Herman. Wyatt, nice pressure inside, flushes Clifford to his right, short completion to tight end. Some good intensity to the start of the team periods today. Lloyd just jogged into the Hudson Center. Didn't seem injury-related, but we'll see. And Lloyd has already missed a good amount of time with a hip injury. Came back in the past week or so, and not sure what's up there. And then Andy Herman did add a little later that Lloyd came back from the Hudson Center. He's okay, so that's good news. Andy Herman also says, Dylan with a fantastic, and I mean fantastic, blitz pickup on Rashawn Gary. So much value to the team on a play like that. Meanwhile, Love struggling to find completions today. Defense is winning early. So we've seen the defense and offense going back and forth. Love finding some success, the defense finding some success. I would say all in all, especially when Love wasn't here, the defense was dominating. Not dominating, I would say, quite as consistently, it seems, when Love is back, which is something I think you'd expect, but still sort of going back and forth. Then Paul Brettel said, Dillard and Telford alternating right tackle and left tackle series with the twos early. And there's definitely competition for that third tackle, the backup tackle, swing tackle spot between Dillard, Telford, and Caleb Jones. Then Matt Schneidman says, Brenton Cox making noise in the backfield today. 2 tackles for loss against the run in the last couple of days. So backup defensive end there making some noise. Andy Herman says, Malik Heath was run blocking on a play and is down on the ground holding his leg. He's been down for a while. Got back up and stood on it. He's limping off and clearly frustrated. Hopefully nothing too serious. Then he adds later he was back doing special teams drills. Great news. That looked bad. So Malik Heath looked to maybe have a kind of injury, but comes back. So that is great to see that he was back out there. Then Wes Hodgwood's new addition, whose kicker Alex Hale is kicking today. He goes 3 for 3 between 33, 41, and 44. And I already touched on it in a video on this new kicker signing. But the fact that the Packers are still bringing in third kickers, which they've done a few times this offseason, is pretty it's somewhat concerning. The fact that, we're in, August and they still don't seem super confident in Anders Carlson or Greg Joseph. And so we'll see what happens with Alex Hale. Then Wes Hodgwood's Lucas Van Ness stunts inside and bats Love pass at line of scrimmage. Play before Love connected with Wicks on a 2nd and 11 crosser. Then Paul Brettel says, yesterday was Dillard and Telford spelling Tom on some reps yesterday. Early today, Caleb Jones getting some of those opportunities. So those 3 guys competing, as I said. Andy Herman says here, Wyatt's 3rd big play of practice, that time a sack of Clifford. Huge day for 95 so far. And Wyatt is entering his third season here with the Packers, and the way that this Jeff Hafley defense operates, it sounds like Wyatt could have a big year this year. He's been really, really good when it comes to rushing the passer, and it sounds like he'll have more opportunities this year, and he's been making some noise here. Then Andy Herman, Rochelle, nice diving pass breakup against Doubs on a throw from Clifford. Nice little toss play to the right for Jacobs. He's looked really good these last couple days. Pocket collapses on Love, would be sack. I believe Cox was in there, but Gary may have been as well. And then Wes Hodkwitz, another nice play by Wyatt, says Devontae Wyatt in the backfield again, and Love has to dirt it. So hopefully we see that happen once the season starts. We saw it a good amount last year. He struggled with some tackling, missed a good amount of tackles. But if he can wrap up better and consistently be a problem in the backfield, it's going to help the Packers defense, their secondary, when you can get that much pressure consistently. Andy Herman, Love finding some rhythm now, back-to-back completions, this time to Wicks versus Jair. McKinney all over a Dillon run to the left. Then an interception here, Wes Hodkwitz. McKinney interception over the middle on Love pass intended for Musgrave. Came out of nowhere again. So you don't want to see Jordan Love throwing interceptions, but the fact that Love is as good a quarterback as he is, and McKinney seems to be disguising things well and intercepting Jordan Love. He's done it a few times this training camp. That's a plus for this Packers defense that was one of the worst last year when it came to interceptions, and hopefully we see that number double. I think it was 7 last year, second worst in the league. If they double that, that would still be about average in the league, 14 interceptions last season. So hopefully we see that number go to another level here with this aggressive defense. Then from Andy Herman, you know who is quietly having a really nice camp? Aaron Mosby. Comes up with a play almost every day, just tipped to pass on a Pratt rollout. So Mosby is pretty far down the defensive end depth chart. Will probably be competing for the 5th or 6th spot with Brenton Cox, Keyshawn Banks. So interesting to note that he's having a nice camp. Andy Herman, Keaton Oladapo comes up with a pass breakup in team. Nice to see him get some time and make a play. Then Wes Hodkwitz, red zone period, Doubs touchdown. Stop me if you've heard this before. And I think that Love, as I've said in the past, trusts Romeo Doubs the most when it comes to big time situations, and Doubs continues to show up here at Packers training camp. Then we have Andy Herman, Clifford to Toure for a touchdown in red zone. Nice find by 6 and AJ. Easy catch run for 83. Flag on the play though, not sure what. Then Aaron Nagler adds false start by the left tackle. Whole offense was celebrating while Hafley was yelling for the flag, which was thrown comically late. So false start there, I guess, takes away the touchdown. But we've seen a few nice things from Clifford recently. Doesn't seem to be throwing quite as many interceptions as he was earlier, just from the reports I've seen. Because early in camp, it seemed like nearly every day Clifford was throwing picks. But here he throws a touchdown, even though it was negated by a penalty. Then Ryan Wood, new Packers kicker Alex Hale, now 5 of 6 on the day. On second set, he made kicks from extra point, 40 yards, and missed from 45. So 5 of 6 on the day. The kicker competition continues. Then here we have from Andy Herman, 1:20 left, 1 timeout, down 3, ball at the 30, 1st and 10. Number 2's up first. First play, Hopper with a pass breakup, and Hopper's been making some plays. Packers 3rd round linebacker draft pick. Second play, wooden sack of Clifford. They call it incomplete. Clifford completes over the middle to Dubose, but they call this one a sack. Brooks was in there. Clifford incomplete deep to Toure, gave him a jump ball, definitely contested, incomplete, and turnover on downs. 1's up next, same situation. Love to Musgrave, complete for 9 and out of bounds. Love to Wicks for a nice gain, 1st down. Beautiful throw and catch from Love to Wicks. Downfield and out of bounds, 1st and 10, and defense territory around the 20. Love to Watson, back of the end zone, but Evan Williams out jumps him for a game-ending pick. Huge play for Williams, bad decision for Love. So Love threw a couple interceptions today. And with that safety battle next to Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams has been making a lot of plays here in training camp, picking off Jordan Love. And so there's definitely a battle there between Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, Anthony Johnson Jr. Then here we have from Matt Schneidman, says, handful of players were on a knee around Christian Watson, who was face down for a while but turned to his back. Love targeted Watson in end zone during 2-minute period, but was picked off by Evan Williams, which I touched on. Didn't see how Watson got hurt. He gets up after a couple minutes and is walking on his own. And right when I started reading that, I was thinking, oh no, is he seriously injured? He seems to be okay. He at least got up. And then his dad added on Twitter, Tazim Wajed, if I pronounced that right. He said, here you go, folks. He's fine. Took a knee to the side of his leg and needed some time for the effects to die down. It's a violent collision sport where these things will happen quite a bit. There's a difference between getting hurt and getting injured. Let someone full speed into you and knee you in the side of your leg, and I don't think we need to explain this one any further. It's football. So it sounds like more of a stinger, not an injury. He just got a knee to the side of his leg, but it seems that he is okay, which is great news because right at first when I read that, I was like, oh no, hopefully it's not a serious injury, and so he seems to be okay. But those are all the updates from Packers practice today. If you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, make sure you turn on the notifications down below. You can also follow my other channel, Sideline Scoop NFL, where I've been posting 2 to 3 times a day about other things going on around the league, and I'll leave that linked at the top of the description if you want to check that out.